Game Awards situation. This game, everybody hates this game.
Last night was the Game Awards, and there was a stat that chat was regurgitating that I didn't believe. I thought it was so outlandish they must have escaped from a mental institution and were spewing a bunch of mumbo-jumbo until I checked and verified the authenticity. The claim was that last year's Game Awards had higher viewership than the Super Bowl. And I said, well, that's a bunch of fiddlesticks, no way. Super Bowl had like 120-something million viewers. It was like the most watched Super Bowl ever. No way the Game Awards beat that. Turns out it did. Jeff Keighley hung his hog on the Super Bowl.
Oh my god! I've never even seen this. Holy shit. I mean, it does make perfect sense, though. Here's why it makes perfect sense. The Super Bowl is American-centric, and the Game Awards are universal for anybody who can understand English. And I'm sure they have translated versions. So, no, it makes perfect sense. But, like, oh my god.
Bowl numbers, 154 million global viewers. Now, Super Bowl is an event that mainly only Americans care about. I get that. Game Awards is international. But
it's still crazy. Yeah, it's nuts.
And still, those numbers blew my fucking mind. Blew
I
my
didn't know
ass
that.
out.
Wow.
So, it is like a super big deal.
It is.
And I watch the Game Awards every year, but had no idea it was this big.
Yeah, I feel like, I mean, Jeff is the guy, man. He really is.
I have this knowledge locked away in the old steel trap up here. It makes the Game Awards final reveal from last night even more odd, just peculiar. Yeah. Because it is a blunder. That is the most important final reveal. And last night, boy howdy did that one fall flat, unfortunately.
I think that they recalibrated the way that they did reveals. Because it's an award show ceremony, I think that the biggest trailers are front-loaded into the event, and the biggest games are actually revealed within about 1/3 of the show beginning, because that's going to create immediate social media buzz and get people to start watching the show while it's still happening. I think they recalibrated it for that reason, because the same thing happened last year. It was like the second trailer or something like that. They announced Elden Ring Night Rain. Like, that's a massive thing to just like throw it out there as the second trailer of the night. And I think that it's very different, right? For example, to like basically like, you know, Summer Games Awards or something like that is very different, because like an award show has like a culminating effect where just a trade show or like a trailer show doesn't have that. So I think that they did this intentionally. And I think that if you logically think about it, it makes sense.
Fortunately. And I know a lot of people have criticized Jeff Keighley, like playfully teasing about how he'll overhype things that don't warrant that level.
Or he'll give Astrobot the Game of the Year award that they didn't deserve because Black Myth Wukong should have got it. It's just fucking retarded. Yeah, but there's that too. Yeah, sure.
Glaze or, you know, anticipation.
Yeah.
Where Jeff Keighley will sometimes, you know, get you like biting your nails, like, holy shit, what's he about to reveal? Because he's hyping it up so much.
Yeah.
Like,
and it's like a 2D side scroller.
In my numerous decades in the industry, I've never been this excited. This is my honor, my privilege. This is the apotheosis of gaming. I present to you the world premiere for The Poop That Took a P2. As he's starting to get like tears in his
Honestly, I feel like that'd probably be better than High Guard.
Eyes for it. And it's like, well,
yeah.
I think you oversold this one a bit, to be honest with you. Though, one that people point to is from last year where he revealed Okami. I do not think that's a good example of that, because that is not overhyped. That genuinely is extremely exciting.
So Okami replied to this. This was so fucking funny. So they went and replied to this, and they say, "Is this more to your liking?" So it's the joke about people that don't like video games unless they have a gun or a ball in it. 155 million likes. Unfathomably based. You know what? Maybe I should play Okami. I've never played the game before. I don't even know what it is. Like, I was also a little bit like, what the fuck is this? But now, I think I might be a fan.
fucking love Okami and cannot
1,000?
wait
Yeah,
for the
whatever.
new Okami. But he does have a history of doing that occasionally. And last night...
Well, he oversold the Mega Man thing. I think that the problem is that every guy that's excited about Mega Man is probably, it was like 11 p.m. He's probably been asleep for an hour at this point.
Was one of those examples for the final reveal.
Our final world premiere
here we go.
comes from 61 members
Ted?
of the team that built Apex Legends and Titanfall. 4 years ago, the principal...
And then everybody, and I think also it's like a matter of like expectations. I think that, there's an expectation that, oh my God, Titanfall 3, because people even want me to put that on the bingo.
founded a new independent studio with the hopes of pushing the shooter genre forward with a new original game.
If that doesn't put a boner in your trousers, nothing will.
Of course.
You cannot have a more hype introduction than that.
Yeah, you're
right
putting
there.
it on.
Those
Absolutely.
sentences alone could make the Grinch's heart grow 3 sizes. And when I was watching this live, I actually thought for a moment we might be seeing a Titanfall 3 or, at the very least, a spiritual successor to Titanfall. But that's where they get you. Jeff's got you eating out of the palm of his hands right now. You're hook, line, and sinker buying into this delusion. Like, I have said for a long time, we will probably not see a Titanfall 3. Unfortunately, I think...
Mech games are just too niche. I mean, From Software was able to do it, but, like, look at Mecha Break. That game flopped. And I don't feel like there's any other mech game that's really coming out anytime soon. Like, there's, I think, one Gundam game that's going to come out. The problem is, like, I don't know why. I really don't. I don't understand why. Because to me, Mech Warrior, no, it didn't. Mecha Break didn't flop. The only argument that you could make that Mecha Break didn't flop is because it didn't have enough life into it to flop to begin with. What do you call that? You dick-sucking retard? I think that's a flop. Just shut the fuck up.
is going to kegel on that property forever and never use it for anything ever again because they didn't perform financially well for them. Even though these games are beloved, I don't think we'll
they're beloved by, like, everybody that grew up playing Mech Warrior. There's, like, I don't know. There's, like, it's just too narrow of an audience. And I'm part of the audience, right? But it's just too narrow, unfortunately. I think the only mech game that could potentially do well would be, like, a AAA developed, like, Gundam game that plays like Armored Core 6. That's it. I mean, I don't know. Because just to capitalize on the brand value.
See a new entry into this franchise. But I really was starting to buy into the fantasy here because he's mentioning that a lot of people responsible for those masterpieces have broken off
Apex
and are now
was
pursuing
crazy
something
good. So good.
new together. And you're expecting, like, maybe it's in a similar vein to Titanfall. You know, Professor Utonium's in the lab and he's putting together all the ingredients of the perfect little shooter.
Yes.
But that wasn't what was on the menu. Instead, what was served up on the plate was a seemingly standard hero shooter. Now, I always have a great time watching the Game Awards. This year, I also had a lot of fun watching it.
It's a great show.
I just really don't understand why they would save this game as their final reveal, which is
because it doesn't matter anymore. Because the show's pretty much over, so there are people going to stop watching anyway. Who gives a shit? That's the reason. Because they no longer have to keep the attention of the audience. So, think about it like this. Of the psychology of how you can keep the engagement of an audience member. So you have the two different graphs. And so and I'm being real that again, you think about this, right? Think about it and be logical with this. Awards hype. And this is trailer hype. Why would they release a trailer right here whenever the awards hype is already this high? Because if you're going to min-max, you would logically release and put out your best trailers towards the beginning, and then allow the anticipation for the biggest awards to carry the show for the second half. This is just the way, if you want to min-max, this is how you min-max. Like, that's it. Like, I'm sorry, but like, you just think about this. Yeah, I mean, hype both are stupid. Both stupid? Yeah, sure. I mean, like, I don't know. Is this a psychological trick? What? What do you... Wait, are you telling me they're trying to market the show? What? No. They don't see it this way, probably? Okay, sure. Yeah, definitely. That's 100%. Every big ad spot was put in the first half hour. Yeah. I mean, again, that's the reason why.
Like, always the most important reveal because it's the one that sticks with the viewers the longest. And it's usually reserved for the one that's going to fucking have them, gushing grannies.
No.
And having a generic hero shooter be in that place feels really odd, and a lot of people have been kind of clowning on it for it.
Announcing Concord 2.
Bringing the heat.
Oh, wow. It's going to be $80 when it comes out. Oh, man.
Belongs to me. Forming.
And you can move it through a wall. And that's that thing from Valorant. And it's in this game too. And then, that's in Valorant too.
Siege tower coming in.
What? No way!
It's not the most exciting looking game. It's not going to put you on the edge
It looks like it got generated by Grok.
Your seat there. And it does give me a similar vibe to Concord when that was revealed.
Exactly, it's Concord. Yeah, 100%. Yeah, it's Concord.
Fortunately. And a lot of people have taken to calling this Concord 2, even though the game's not out.
That was me. Yeah. I mean, like, to be fair, other people said it too, but still.
Or anything yet, it does kind of have a lot of similar DNA to it from the look of the gameplay here.
It absolutely
does. And it just feels like a game that shouldn't have been saved for last as like the big oorah. This should have just been a game that they show somewhere in the middle or towards the beginning where it's like, hey, this game's also right around the corner if you want another hero shooter, like if you're really salivating for more hero shooter action.
The fidelity is worse than Concord? It doesn't.
Like that makes sense. It just doesn't really compute why they would have this be the final reveal. Yeah. I think what would have fit here best actually was the Star Wars KOTOR
Knights of the Old Republic.
Game.
Yeah, exactly.
They have a new KOTOR coming out called Fate of the Old Republic, and that was extremely hype.
It was a very good trailer, too.
I think if they had saved Fate of the Old Republic for the final reveal, that would have been a big pop-off moment.
Yeah.
Because that is something that a ton of people, myself included, cannot wait for. And
I think that it's very obvious that when you have this many people that are talking about it being disappointing, even if you are logically and logistically correct, I think that managing sentiment and managing public opinion does matter. And if a lot of people think that the show releases have been letdowns at the end of the show, you probably should at least save something that's kind of exciting for the fans at the end. You should. Now, and maybe if it's not best for the metrics or anything else, I think that it's really important to do that in order to build a degree. Jeff will adjust. Yeah, I think he will. And one of the reasons why is because people are providing feedback. That's why I'm saying what I'm saying. Is that, like, I think that I know, like, logically why they're doing it, but I think that they could recalibrate it to where at least one really great trailer is at the end. Whether it was like Tomb Raider or whether it was Knights of the Old Republic or something like that.
Now I need to go back and replay KOTOR 1 and 2 because it is so cool. That is something people have really wanted. Whereas with Highguard, I feel like there's more people asking for the common cold than more hero shooters. And especially from such a talented team that have put together games like Titanfall, you would hope...
Yeah, I'd say there's like a degree of frustration there where it's like, oh wow, you have all these great guys that have come together to make this piece of shit.
That they'd spread their wings a bit more than just like a hero shooter game. So it's just one of those things that is underwhelming for a final game reveal.
Yeah, it's underwhelming.
Anyway, though, I had a great time watching the Game Awards, as I do every year. It's become a tradition, and I always think Jeff Keighley and his team put on a really impressive and really entertaining show. And
I think that, like, logistically, this was the best show they've ever done. Like, it really, like, I mean, watching this and then comparing it to the Streamer Awards, man.
Really appreciate all the hard work that goes into it.
Like,
So
such
I
a
will
great
say,
show.
I think this year
Insane.
there is a lesson to be learned in the amount of nominations a game can get. With the E33 sweep, I do think there maybe needs to be some kind of limitations in place. I said from the second the credits rolled on that game that it was special, and it is in my top 20 favorite games of all time. I think
in my
it is
top
a
10.
full-blown,
Yeah.
full fucking chub masterpiece. But that being said, I don't think it should be in every category that it was in, even if it could fit into that category, like the most.
It's such a hard conversation to have, and it's like, I think about it overall, it's probably better that they go with what Charlie is saying. And this is the reason why, is that these award shows are not really for the developers, they're for the fans. We are the real audience of these shows. Like, yes, obviously the developers get to go up there and say thank you for playing the game and everything like that. But the reason why all of this is possible and everything is enabled is because of the fans that are watching the show. And I think ultimately it does make it kind of boring if you know that it's kind of like I don't know, this is like maybe a weird comparison, but it's like whenever video games or like animes have power scaling where it's like one character is so powerful that you just know every single encounter is going to go in their favor, right? It becomes boring to watch. So like people say that about solo leveling, for example. And I think that this is kind of the same thing where you basically have, like a game that's winning everything. It's winning every single thing. And now it's like, it's not exciting really to watch the outcome because you know what it already is. And yeah, maybe that's true. I disagree. If a game is voted it to win, then it deserves to win. I understand, and I understand your point of view, but I do think that deserving is not, like, I don't give a fuck about that. Like, I care about whether it's entertaining or not, whether you are making a show that people want to watch. And that should be your priority number one. And the truth is that if one game wins every award, that makes the show kind of boring. That's it.
Most contentious is the indie game category. While yes, it is by definition an indie game, I do feel like it shouldn't be there to give room to other games.
It shouldn't be an indie game. Video games should only be indie if they're self-published. It's such. I don't understand how. Like, I don't even understand what indie games. I wish they would just get rid of the category, or rename the category to something different. Like best retro game adaptation or best, low budget game with a budget of under like, $5 or $10 million or something like that. Self-published. Yeah, exactly. Best self-published game. Yeah. Like best indie game. Like there's been like, and this has been going on really ever since Baldur's Gate 3. Because Baldur's Gate 3 was technically, by a lot of industry-defined standards, an indie game. But is it really fair that Baldur's Gate 3 is competing against something that's the equivalent of Megabonk? I don't think so. So there has to be a degree of, like, just kind of common sense involved with this, too.
To shine in that category. Like, it is an unbelievable game. And by being as good as it is, and in every category that it was present, it drowned out a lot of other extremely impressive games from this year.
That's true.
2025 was genuinely an amazing year for games. There were so many super slappers, absolute bangers out the wazoo, but if you only watch the Game Awards, you would think that it was just Expedition 33, really. And that's a shame. I do think E33 deserves, like, the Game of the Year win.
I think it's that much better than every other game. I actually do. I don't think any of these other games like Hades or Silksong or anything like that, I don't think they're even in the same universe as Expedition 33. They're not. They're not even remotely close. So I think they deserve to win every award. But I just don't think it makes for a good show.
And many of its other wins, because I do think that does epitomize what the games industry should be about. a team of passionate creators that all banded together under very unlikely circumstances with a very wild way
Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 is better as an RPG game. I mean, this is my personal opinion, right? I don't even think Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 is remotely close to as good as Expedition 33. Like, basically, I think that Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 is a 9 or an 8 out of 10 game. But if Expedition 33 is a 10, then Kingdom Come is like a 6 or a 7. I don't even think it's remotely close. That's my opinion.
Assembling this team of creatives to create something that's really not been done before to the degree in which they did it with the budget that they had, apparently less than $10 million. It is an unreal story. And ridiculous. The person at the head of Sandfall, he is like a gamer's gamer. That guy, I've watched a couple of his interviews.
Like Devil May Cry no-hit runs or something?
Always singing the praises of the goats that have came before him, and he's not just doing lip service. He knows his shit. Like, this is a guy who lives and breathes this medium that wanted to do something truly special in it. And I think they succeeded. And it's great to see the reception be as positive as it is to their art. I'm very happy for that team, and I think it deserves all of the glaze that it gets.
Absolutely.
But when it comes to the Game Awards, I just think it would have been best if it was reserved for, a handful of the categories that it was nominated in. And I also think that would have been better for Expedition 33 overall as well, because when people who aren't overly familiar with it see it keep winning everything, it makes them tired of it. It makes them soured on E33 as a whole. I saw a comparison drawn by a lot of people about, like, the Patriots when they were on their dynasty run winning everything. People fucking hated the Patriots because they were so good.
I could offer a counterexample that I thought that everybody, whenever Lord of the Rings won all of the Oscar nominations, and it just totally clean sweeped like every fucking award show for like the 3 years that it was happening, I don't think a lot of people really complained about that either. So, like, but I think, again, it really, there's a much larger hater economy now than there was then.
Expedition 33 is having a similar phenomenon. It won so much, people now just hate it by default. Like, they don't want to engage with it anymore. They'd rather spit and shit on it and that kind of thing. Yeah. I just overall feel like less is more in this case, where it'd be in its strongest categories, like voice acting, narrative, music, and game of the year, that kind of thing, as opposed to, like, 13 categories. Because it is a lot, and it does unfortunately push out some of the other extremely good games from the year. Like Kingdom Come 2 didn't win anything, when I feel like, by all definitions, it should have won Best RPG of the Year. If Kingdom Come was going to win something, it should definitely win that. Because, like, even though I think that, like, overall, like, Expedition 33 is just infinitely better than Kingdom Come Deliverance 2, like, that's my opinion, I do think that playing the role of Henry is much more of a role-playing game in Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 than you're playing in, like, let's say, Expedition 33. Like, you really, like, you've got to deal with all kinds of, like, annoying bullshit doing that, right? So, yeah. It's just, I love Expedition 33, and I'm super happy to see it do so well. But for the awards here, I would really have liked to be able to celebrate some of the other great games that also came out this year. Like I said, this was an extraordinary year for banger titles releasing, especially in the indie category. So many good indie games came out this year. But anyway, I'll stop yapping about it. That's really about it. See ya.
Well, there it is. I kind of agree. I do. And you could really define Expedition 33 as an RPG, though. Yeah, you could define it as an RPG. What are we talking about? Like, yeah, obviously you can define it like that. And so, yeah, I think this is definitely true. And overall, I love how it doesn't even address you one content creator of the year. Yeah, true, actually. That is pretty fucking funny. Here, I'll link you guys the video. I do agree with this. And I do think that, like, with how many people who are unhappy about, like, the predictable nature of one game winning every award, I think that at a certain point, the award ceremony is made for the fans. It's made for the fans. It's made to make people feel good about, like, the games they're playing, etc. And I do think that it's boring to watch the same game win every single award. It is. It's boring to watch. So, I mean, again, Now, it doesn't mean that I think that it deserved every single fucking award that it got. I think it probably deserved more. That being said, I also don't think that that's entertaining for people to watch. Yeah, it's boring. Exactly. Yes, it's just simply boring. So it was deserved, though. Yeah, I totally agree. That's how awards work. Well, why is it boring, though? Because people can anticipate the outcome. And when you can anticipate the outcome for something where the outcome of it is supposed to be suspenseful, then it loses its appeal because you aren't having any suspense. Duh. Of course. So, like, yeah, obviously. You always have the suspense. Interesting. Yeah, exactly. I mean, sure. Wasn't it fan voted? It was partially fan voted, but it was primarily not fan voted. So, yeah, that's really it. It happens rarely, though. I don't mind it happening in the case and like this and making some Twitter weirdos mad. Sure, it's kind of fresh for this to happen, though. We won't have another game win multiple awards anytime soon. Well, I think that Baldur's Gate 3 swept back whenever it came out. And I think also it will probably happen again. Like, the odds are that now we're probably going to see more games that are like that because it's kind of like a proof of concept for other studios to be able to take that approach. Yeah, GTA 6. Imagine whenever GTA 6 comes out, it's going to win like probably 20 awards, right? And so it's boring for those that don't like the game. Yeah, and those that want it to win will be excited no matter what. Maybe less excited, but still excited at the end of the day. The collective that wanted others to win is still bigger than those that wanted Expedition 33 to win. Yeah, I mean, and again, like, I think, again, it is the Expedition 33 is the best game this year, and I don't even think anything else is even remotely close. It's just not. Like, I don't, like, to be fair, I did not play Death Stranding 2, but from everything that I've seen, it sure didn't look that amazing, right? I mean, like Hades 2 versus like Expedition 33, it's not even in the same universe, in my opinion. Even though I think Hades 2 is a great game, right? It's one of those things where like a 9 out of 10 game, which I think Hades 2 is like, there's a bigger difference between a 9 out of 10 game and a 10 out of 10 game than there is between a 9 out of 10 game and a 5 out of 10 game. Like, I know that might sound weird, but like, I think you guys can kind of see what I'm saying with this, right? Where like the difference in like quality for something like Baldur's Gate 3 or like Elden Ring or Expedition 33, it's logarithmic. Yeah, it's like, it's scaling, right? It's scaling. And so that's it. Exponential difference, 100%. Oblivion wipes the floor with Expedition 33. I don't know about that, right? But I do know people liked it a lot, right? Sure. Death Stranding 2 is not your kind of game. Yeah, sure. And starting to understand how U.S. education system and grading works. Yeah, definitely. Under normal standards, I would agree, but many others predicted this months ago, so the surprise Pikachu faces on all Twitters are just copium. Yeah, I think there's definitely that too. But overall, like, Jeff, that he definitely should save at least one good game for the end of the trailer, right? He absolutely should.